I'm Julie May. I'm a professor, I'm a wife, I'm a mom, and I'm a sweet Southern culinary superstar, even if it's only in my own kitchen. My food blog, Menu Musings of a Modern American Mom, reaches thousands of people all over the world each day. And today, I'm gonna cook with you. Let's get started. Today, we're starting out at Ingles, getting the ingredients to make a pumpkin ravioli with brown butter and crispy sage. Here's what we'll need. Now, normally when we make ravioli, we're gonna use fresh pasta. And if you'd like to make fresh pasta, visit my website for step-by-step instructions. But today, we're gonna make them really, really fast and easy. So we're gonna use pre-made wonton wrappers from Ingles. For the filling, we'll need 1/2 of a small can of pumpkin, not the pumpkin pie mix, 4 ounces of Laura Lynn light cream cheese, some salt and pepper, 6 leaves of fresh sage that we're gonna chop really small, and 1/4 of a cup of freshly grated Parmigiano Reggiano. Finally, for the brown butter sauce with crispy sage leaves, we'll need 1/2 of a stick of butter, some fresh sage leaves, and for garnish, we're gonna use some chopped walnuts that we're gonna lightly toast, and then maybe some Parmigiano Reggiano just on the top. Now remember, all of this is on the website at ingles-markets.com. You can print a list and take it with you, or you can pull it up on your phone. Now let's get cooking. Okay, so since this is such a fast recipe, let's get a little bit of our prep done first. So I've toasted up some walnuts at a 375-degree oven for about 8 minutes, and I have them chopped. This is going to be our garnish, so let's get that done first. And then we're ready to make our ravioli filling. So this is so simple. All we're gonna do is combine our pumpkin. Next, we have our light cream cheese. We're saving a little bit of fat there. Next, we're going to add our freshly chopped sage leaves. That's a wonderful autumn flavor. Next, our Parmigiano Reggiano cheese. This makes anything better in my opinion. And we're going to mix those a little bit together. And after we get those mixed together, we're going to add some salt and pepper. You can just do this to taste. Now notice here I have black pepper and white pepper. It's completely up to you. This is kind of a great little date night recipe, so if you don't want pepper in your teeth, you can use the white pepper, but it really doesn't matter. I like how the black pepper looks. So let's get this mixed up. It's gonna get really nice and creamy. The pumpkin is a little bit sweet, so I find that the Parmigiano Reggiano balances out really, really nicely. And the sage just tastes like Thanksgiving, right? So let's get this mixed up. It smells wonderful already. I'm gonna add some kosher salt. Go, and I think I'm choosing black pepper here. All right, and you know what? That's all there is to the filling. So what I'm gonna do next is I'm just gonna put this into a piping bag so that I can make my ravioli and we'll be ready to get it going. So let me explain to you about what these are. These are wonton wrappers and they're little sheets of dough. They come in 2 different sizes. The wonton wrappers are about the size of your palm, and then there's egg roll wrappers that are about the size of your whole hand. These are perfect for ravioli, and they're such a time saver. So let's just set some of these out. Now, if you have them sitting out for a while, you might want to put a damp cloth or something over them so they don't dry out. But they're so easy to use. So I have my filling in my piping bag. If you don't have a piping bag, you can use a spoon or you can put them in a zip top bag, just snip the corner off, whatever you have. The main point is we're going to put about a tablespoon of filling right into the middle. And you can see that beautiful sage in there and a little bit of the parm coming through and the pepper. These are so festive for fall. Then all we have to do is put the top on them. So to make them stick together, what I'm going to do is just kind of wet the edges with my finger like that. My daughter really likes to do this. This is a very kid-friendly part of it. You can wet the whole thing if you want to. And all you're gonna do is drape it over the top. Now, the only important thing that you need to remember is that you get the air bubbles out, because the air bubbles, once we're boiling them, can actually expand and break the ravioli. So just kind of press them together with your finger. See how cute they are? Now you can certainly leave them like this if you'd like to, but if you'd like to make them a little bit fancier, you can cut them in whatever shape you'd like. You can use a paring knife or a pizza wheel or a crimper or a pastry wheel. You can use a biscuit cutter if you'd like to. They come in round or little fluted edges, however fancy you want to make them. So this is what I'm using today. And all you're going to do is press them down and give them a nice little turn. And it kind of crimps and cuts all at the same time. and we have the cutest little raviolis. So I'm going to continue to make some of these for a while, and then we'll get them in the water. Now, since our water is boiling already, it's time to add our ravioli. Now, since these aren't a dried product like spaghetti, they're going to cook really fast in only 2 or 3 minutes. So once your water's boiling, let's drop them in. Be careful about that. And just as a note, you can find these wonton wrappers in the produce section at Ingles. Now make sure you give these a stir so they don't stick together. And you can tell when they're ready because they're going to start floating, so it's kind of a built-in safe method, right? Now if you look in the pot, you can see that they've come up to a boil. This tells us that they're ready. So I'd like you to carefully take them out. They are kind of delicate at this point. And just put them in a plate because we're about to make our sauce, which is super fast. So just put them to the side for a second. If you don't have one of these spiders, you can just use a slotted spoon. That will work fine as well. All right, so let's get that water turned off and we're ready to make our sauce. Now we're ready to make our sauce. This is so fast and easy. This sauce cooks up so quickly. So what we're gonna do is I have a saute pan heating over medium-high heat. When it gets hot, as you can see, add your butter. Let it melt in one spot. Don't move the pan around. When the butter has really begun to melt, we're gonna pick up the pan and kind of swirl it around to keep the melted butter from burning. All right, now that all my butter is melted, I'm going to carefully add the sage leaves. These will fry up in about, 2 or 3 minutes. It doesn't take long, maybe 1 to 2. Just watch them. You're going to smell them. They're going to smell great. Now this crispy sage is much less pungent than the fresh sage, and the crispiness is like they just melt in your mouth, really like crispy when you put them in your mouth. I think that's enough to start. Can you hear them sizzling? Oh, the smell is wonderful. If you feel that your butter is heating up a little too fast, you can go ahead and turn it down to medium. So about halfway through, you might want to flip your sage over just to make sure that all of it's browned up. You can see that the edges are starting to curl up and brown just a little bit on the outside. You may notice, if you can see in my pan, that the edges of butter are starting to get brown. Brown butter tastes completely different than regular butter. It has this wonderful nutty aroma and it just makes everything great. I also want to mention that if you make these ravioli ahead of time, you can make them up to the point where you put the ravioli together and then you could just put them in the fridge and then make them for later because the rest of this happens so quickly. These are great for date night. Okay, so now we have our brown butter and you can see that my sage is pretty crispy, so I think it's time to take them out. I'm just going to drain them on a paper towel over here. I'm using a fork just because the butter can go through, but if you'd like to use a slotted spoon or a slotted spatula, that would work as well. All right, I'm going to turn my butter off because I like this degree of nuttiness that it has. And guess what? We're ready to plate. So right here, I have my ravioli. I've already put them out on a plate. And all we're going to do to garnish is take some of that brown butter. We're going to ladle it over the top. You hear that sizzle? I'm going to add some of the chopped walnuts that we toasted in the oven. Just as much as you like. And we're going to grate some Parmigiano Reggiano right over the top. You can grate it small, you can grate it large. I like the large ones just because they're kind of pretty on top. And this is a cheese grater, so isn't that cool? Then, to finish it off, I'm going to add a little kosher salt, some black pepper. So our last step before you serve it is we're going to add that crispy sage right on top. You have to be really careful with it because it is really delicate now. It'll crumble real easily. But it's so different, right? And it's wonderful to make something that's so delicious and so different. And there you have it, a beautiful dish that tastes like autumn, really rich with bold flavors, and it's delicious, but it's something different. If you've never had fresh pasta before, you are so in for a treat. I hope you enjoy. Well, we're out of time for today, but I want to thank you so much for joining me here in the Ingles kitchen for Menu Musings. Remember, you can find this recipe, videos, photos, and more all on the website at ingles-markets.com. I'll be cooking up more great ideas for you and your family. Until next time, I'll see you online.